Welcome to Say No to Lashon Hara, Day 16. Today has been sponsored anonymously, and the entire project is being done as a refuah shlema for Chana bat Simafega. The Hafez Chaim brings a classic case. You have a lot of people sitting, talking with a powerful boss, leader, politician, someone that has a lot of power. And anyway, someone mentions the other side, perhaps, of the political divide, or someone else that's being suggested for his job, or anyone that you know that this powerful person really doesn't like. For whatever reason, he just has a deep hatred for that person. Anyway, one of the people in the office, knowing that the boss hates that guy, or that the politician hates that person, or even that rabbi hates that person, and he wants to curry favor with the boss. So he says this guy is such a terrible person. He's dishonest, and he has no ethical or moral compass, and he does all sorts of terrible things, and he has no heart. Now, the nature of that Lashon Hara is actually very dangerous, not only because it's regular Lashon Hara, but because it feeds into someone who already hates that person. So if Lashon Hara is about damaging a person in the ears of the person who's listening to your Lashon Hara, could you imagine when those ears belong to someone who not only is happy to believe what you have to say, but actually is enjoying all the negative talk that you're putting out there? So that Lashon Hara is incredibly dangerous in causing machloket, in causing damage to the person. Now, what should you do instead? You know that your boss really doesn't like someone. Instead of trying to fuel the fire and make them hate each other more, or bring out those negative points again and get your boss upset, a different way of dealing with it is perhaps finding something good about that person. Or as an example, maybe we shouldn't be at such odds. I know that he's done this, but he's trying to do something, and this is just the way people act in business and politics. There's a way of kind of calming the situation and feeling and identifying with the deeds that they did, even if they're wrong, and expressing that sometimes people do that when they're defenseless, or they're backed into a corner, without kind of saying that it's okay, but just tamping down the fuel of that fire. A lot of times, that's actually what causes Lashon Hara. Think about it. If someone's coming to say Lashon Hara to you, odds are that they want to tell you Lashon Hara that they know you'll enjoy to hear. You don't want to go to someone and tell them Lashon Hara about their best friend that they don't want to hear. It's not fun. They just tell you no, and it's not true, and you don't understand, and you don't know. So the cause oftentimes of Lashon Hara is flattery, is when you're trying to find favor in the eyes of the one that you are speaking badly to. So I'm going to tell you a story about someone you don't like, and then that, in my mind, will draw us closer. That's called chanufa. And the pasuk says, Lo tachanifu et haaretz. You shall not bring flattery upon the land, upon Eretz Israel. And the Rishonim hold that this is actually a sin in the Torah. So bringing flattery to a person for doing something wrong, instead of telling him, you hate this person so much, is there a way we can work through it, or we can drop it, or we can not carry this hatred around with us? Instead of doing that, what you're doing is you're adding fuel to the fire by pointing out those negative points about the person. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Hafez Chaim says, what happens if you're in that room and one of the employees starts speaking that way to the boss about the person that they don't like? So, I'm not speaking Lashon Hara. I'm not even listening to it. I'm just sitting there. So ideally, actually, what a person is supposed to do is to defend the accused and to say, guys, we don't need to talk this way about people. What he did was not that, different than what we're doing right now in this office, etc., etc. How often do I hear people talking about other people who speak Lashon Hara? And the irony is never lost on me, but seemingly always lost on some people. So the first thing is you try and defend that person in whatever way you can. The second thing is, and this is really tricky, is that you can't say words, add any words, or make any face motions that would indicate that you're also in agreement. So as an example, the person says this person is, he's not so nice, he's not so kind, and then they turn to you. They're both against this guy, the boss and this employee that are speaking about him. And then they turn to you, and you could say, yeah, guy's an animal. That little word that you added indicates that you're also on board. And that's asur. Not only is it asur because of what we've spoken about through bolstering Lashon Hara, but it also increases the likelihood that Lashon Hara is going to be taken seriously by the boss when he sees that everyone agrees with his assessment of the situation. So you can do that with words, or you can actually do that with facial expressions. The person says, this person is very annoying. You just roll your eyes instead of just looking at the person and saying, why? Why is he annoying? Seems to me to be pretty normal what he's doing. That would be a defense of the person. The Hafez Chaim says if he just refrains from offering a defense, which is what we started with, then he's guilty of flattery, because the reason why he's not defending him is because of he wants to get in his good graces. However, if he did not offer a defense, but he actually went one step further and actually indicated that he was in agreement, then it's obvious that he has transgressed that sin in an even more strict way.